All right, welcome back. Now we are going to do the second paragraph. So that's body paragraph one. I shouldn't even call it one because really it's kind of the only one. All right, so in this paragraph, what you're going to do is you're going to explain in one sentence why you believe your thesis. So remember in the last video, right, we talked about writing the thesis. So you're going to say, for example, the outline example says, my argument is that animals have rights or animals do not have rights. And in this paragraph, you're going to start with a topic sentence which explains why. So animals have rights because animals do not have rights because. So again, if you go to the course Moodle page, right, you can download the PowerPoints that I teach in my ethics class for any of these particular subjects. Animal rights, free speech. Since I'm writing about free speech, um, I'm going to be using some of the information. One of the things about free speech, and I talk about this in my class, I'm giving you some background. So, because you might not have taken my ethics class, so that way you don't feel lost if you're watching this video and you're like, what's he talking about? I don't know who John Stuart Mill is. John Stuart Mill, I teach this in my class on free speech. John Stuart Mill wrote this book. He was a philosopher from the 1800s. He wrote this book called On Liberty. And in this book, he explains how much free speech we should have in society. So, how much free speech should we have? What shouldn't we be allowed to say? One thing that he says is John Stuart Mill says, I'm just going to read it. People should be free to say whatever they want. So he's very pro free speech. He says, until they physically harm or threaten to physically harm another person. So let me give you an example. I can say something to someone and criticize them. Like if I'm writing about the president or if I'm making a speech about the president and I say, the president's doing a terrible job, the president's not doing the right thing, whatever, that's fine. John Stuart Mill says people should be free to say that. If they want to criticize the president, they should be able to. But one thing they can't do is they shouldn't be free to say something that could physically harm someone else. So if I say to a group of people, hey, we should get together and assassinate the president, or we should kill the president, or at that point, John Stuart Mill says, you shouldn't be able to say that. That's not free speech. That's not covered by free speech. And I agree with that, right? So I'm going to use this principle and um, I'm going to start off my second paragraph. So I'm going to put here my position and don't write my position in your paper. Just, you know, I'm just giving you kind of the outline, making it easier for you to see. So I'm going to write that particular part. And the thing is, I also got a website called from the Ethics Center, ethicscenter.org, um, explaining this exact principle called the harm principle. I just explained that what that is to you. People should be, it says here in this website, the harm principle says people should be free to act however they wish unless their actions cause harm to someone else. So that's the harm principle. It's a famous principle in philosophy and ethics. So I'm going to say, here's my position, right? I say here, it is morally okay for Twitter to permanently suspend people's freedom of speech only when there is risk, only when there is the risk of people being physically harmed. So my position, so I'm going to start off here. Philosopher John Stuart Mill explained that people should be free to say whatever they want. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a direct quote. So it says, unless their actions cause harm to someone else. People should be able to say whatever they want unless their actions cause harm to someone else. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this here. Unless their actions cause harm to someone else. Okay, so now again, since I'm using a quote from this website explaining John Stuart Mill's harm principle, I'm going to do the works cited for it. Now, this um this page has no author. Just says by the Ethics Center. But that's not an author, that's just the source, right? The Ethics Center. So since it has no author, we're going to do the in-text citation first. So the in-text citation, remember, it hasn't, you're supposed to put the name of the author, the last name only, and the page number. If there's no author name, you have to go by the title of the article. So we're going to put the title of the article here. We're going to close this quote. Title of the article is Ethics Explainer, the Harm Principle. So I'm going to copy and paste this. However, it's too long, so I'm just going to shorten it to Ethics Explainer. Okay, and I'm going to put a period. So that's my in-text. Oh, you know what? I haven't finished my sentence yet. Let me finish my sentence. So philosopher John Stuart Mill explained that people should be free to say whatever they want unless their actions cause harm to somebody else. Okay, now remember, the whole point of this topic sentence is you have to explain why you believe your thesis. So I haven't done that yet. So I have to say, and I also believe the same thing. Okay, now it's done. I'm saying that I think it's morally okay for Twitter to suspend people's account, to suspend their freedom of speech when there is the risk of people being harmed. John Stuart Mill says that people should be able to say whatever they want unless their actions cause harm to someone else. And I also believe the same thing. Okay, so that explains my position. And that explains the position that I'm going to take. Okay, now the rest of this paragraph is going to be me explaining the position in detail in 3 to 5 sentences. Okay, so let me first finish my works cited. So again, let's go back to the works cited. I have to add this source. So this is, again, this has no author, and this only has, we're going to start with the title. So the title is Ethics Explainer, the Harm Principle. Starts with an E, so E comes before P. So let's put the title in quotes. And let's copy and paste this here. Okay, Ethics Explainer, the Harm Principle. And we're going to put a period, close the quote. Again, the source is the Ethics Center. So let's put it in italics. The Ethics Center, that's center spelled like that. Put a comma. And the date it was written, this was written October 27, 2016. So we're going to put 27 October 2016, comma. We're going to copy and paste the URL, copy, paste, put a period, and then accessed. What day was this accessed? Oh yeah, March 1st, duh. We've already been over this. So 1 March 2025. Okay. And that's it. That's essentially what your works, or what my works cited should look like so far. It looks good. Now, let's move on. So the next part, again, is explaining the position in detail. So I've explained kind of the first part, but now let me add some more detail to this. So I'm going to say, why did Twitter ban the account? So I'm going to repeat that. So the reason Twitter banned President Trump's account was because Twitter was concerned people could be physically harmed as a result of his tweets. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm looking down, it's because I already wrote this paper. So I'm just writing it for you again. I don't want to do the paper like live. It would take way too long. But basically, this is kind of explaining it, right? So John Stuart Mill said you should be free to say whatever you want unless your actions cause harm. I believe the same thing. And hey, the reason Twitter banned his account was because they were concerned people could be physically harmed. Is there evidence of this? Were people physically harmed? Yes, there was. So this is why you have to do your research, right? This is the importance of doing research. So when the Capitol was stormed, 5 people died. At least 5 people died. I think it was more. But when this article was written in January, on January 8, 2021, there were at least 5 deaths. And so people had died as a result of citizens storming the Capitol. So, if we read this right, first sentence, a U.S. Capitol police officer is the latest to be confirmed dead after a mob of President Trump supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say that. I'm going to go ahead and say, and this time I'm going to, in this example, we did an in-text citation with the source here. Here we put the author. Here we put the source. We've been using parentheses, but now what I want to do is I want to put I want to cite the source and the author in the sentence itself. So let's say this. Who wrote this article? Eric Levinson. Okay, so I'm gonna say, according to Eric Levinson of, and then who was this website? CNN. Okay, so CNN is a very famous news network in the USA. So italics CNN. I'm going to put a comma. So according to Eric Levinson of CNN, and we're just going to paraphrase. I'm going to paraphrase it. I'm going to say, here it says, the latest to be confirmed dead, 4 other people died during the stunning attack. So at least 5 people, right? So I'm going to say, according to Eric Levinson of CNN, I'm going to paraphrase, at least 5 people died as a result of the attacks, comma, and I'll say, and Twitter did not want to risk their tweets being a potential cause for more deaths. Okay, so again, because people had died during this attack, Twitter was worried. They said, hey, we don't want something that Trump's going to tweet to cause more people to commit more acts of violence and have more people die. John Stuart Mill would be in agreement with that. Yeah, if people are saying things that could potentially incite violence, that's not free speech. That shouldn't be covered by free speech. And because I said I believe the same thing, now I'm citing what happened a little more in the event with people dying. And then I can finish off by saying, this is why Twitter was justified in what they did. Okay, so you see what I did, right? I finished with this statement that says, this is why Twitter made the right decision. Here, you're explaining your position. So let me give another example. Imagine, again, I'm going to use the animal rights example. You're going to say, animals have rights because they feel pain, or animals don't have rights because society was not built for animals, or animals do not have rights because animals were not created in God's image. I don't know. Whatever reason you put in your position. Then you're going to talk a little more, right, about maybe factory farming, what happens to maybe you can explain a little more detail about that position. And then you're going to say at the end, this is why animals have rights, or this is why animals do not have rights, right? So you're kind of just elaborating on your position, maybe some more background information. Like, let me give you maybe a better example. If you're writing about the death penalty and you say, my position. I am in favor of the death penalty, or I am against the death penalty because innocent people are being executed. And then in this paragraph, you're going to talk about someone who was innocent and got executed because of the death penalty. And then you're going to say, this is why the death penalty is wrong. Something like that. Um, and I should make it just a little more clear. This is the rest of the paragraph, so I'll put here, rest of paragraph. Okay, so that's kind of the rest. That's kind of how you write this particular paragraph. And now what I want to do is in the next video, I'm going to show you how to do the refutation paragraph. The refutation paragraph is also, I think it's easy, but you're going to have to take a different, oh, one more thing. I forgot to cite the source. So what I'm going to do is cite Eric Levinson. So notice, right, it says according to Eric Levinson of CNN. So I'm using this as a source. So I'm going to have to put his article here. Now, this is an interesting article because there are three sources, or there are three authors. One is Eric Levinson, another one is Amir Vera, another one is Malika Kalingal. I believe that's how you say her name. If you have more than two authors, you have to do this format. You have to put the name, last name, first name of the first author. So it's Eric Levinson of the first author. That's the first author here. Then comma, et al. So the et al means there's more than two more authors. If it's two authors, you put both of their names, last name, first name, and then I think it's first name, last name, I believe, off the top of my head. But otherwise, it's just the author, last name, first name, followed by et al. And then we're going to put, again, name of the article, what we know about the 5 deaths. Okay, let's copy and paste this. Okay, and then we're going to put a period, comma, period and close quote. Source, CNN. So we're going to put CNN. Comma. This is the next is the date it was written. So this is written January 8, 2021. So we're going to put 8th of January, 2021. And then comma. We're going to copy and paste the URL, period, and then accessed 1st of March, 2025. Okay. So this is what my works cited page looks like so far. And notice I've used all 4 of my works cited page. Oh, excuse me, all 4 of my sources already. It's very easy to do it. And that's pretty much it. That's essentially how you write your second paragraph or your body paragraph. Just write your position and then explain it a little more in detail, and then finish off by saying, this is why animals have rights. This is why animals don't have rights. This is why the death penalty is wrong. This is why the death penalty is right. This is why Twitter was justified. This is why it was okay to ban Mein Kampf. Whatever your position is. Okay, anyways, in the next video, we're going to do the refutation paragraph. And in the refutation paragraph, we're going to, you're going to see how to write that one. And I'll see you in the next video.